3 hours away every day for about 4 months, because it was a highly specialized kind of radiation. And I will say that I'm very lucky because they radiated my face, my nose. I didn't lose my teeth, that I was at risk for losing all my teeth, and I didn't develop cataracts. They had me follow up with my dentist, who did a lot of I had special toothpaste, saw me for 3 months, for years after this all went down. And so then we waited for 2 years to make sure it had not returned, and it didn't, thank goodness. And then the reconstruction could begin. And at this point, my nose has lost its septum, looked fairly normal until they radiated it, and then it kind of collapsed and looked like a monkey nose. And in order to start making it look more like a nose, they had to put cartilage in it, which is what they did first. It looked pretty good until about a year later, it developed an infection. And much like women with breast cancer, with reconstruction, the way that the cells have been impacted caused the infection to be impossible almost to control. So I lost that first nose that they built to an infection. And after giving myself IV antibiotics for 4 months, they finally got the infection under control. And I was referred to a surgeon in Chicago who wrote all the books on nose reconstruction. He was the most highly regarded surgeon in the world, and he took on my case. And after about 30 attempts to reconstruct my nose with the most famous surgeon in the world, that included using rib tips, almost all my rib tips, 2 different arteries, took arteries out of my body and rooted them through my face, 5 forehead flaps, which I'm not sure that anybody's ever had that many, that I was leading the world, and last time I knew about that. And when I ran out of body parts is when, and he was in his mid-80s at this time, the last failure, I just didn't have any more body parts to contribute. So that I was left with then getting a prosthetic nose, which had been my biggest nightmare. And it was now 9 years of fighting this cancer, and almost 40 surgeries, all failed. Big, long surgeries, and about $250,000 out of pocket, because while women who have breast cancer are covered under the women's cancer law, I found out, which I didn't even know about, but evidently because it's very specific to breast cancer, and nose cancer it's not covered. So it was still, everything I did was all considered cosmetic, even though I didn't have a nose, which still shocks me.
Me too. I can't, that is so weird that they would replace a breast and not replace a nose. That just floors me. That floors me.
Yes. The good news is with my diagnosis, bad news for me, but good news for the future, is that the exciting work that they've done with stem cells, a plastic surgeon that I've worked with since the prosthetic, just in trying to address all the damage from the radiation on my face, they are pioneering stem cell fat grafting, where they take your fat out of your stomach and spin it around and put it in wherever they put it in your body. It repairs cells at a microvascular level and adapts the DNA of where they've put it. And so had that been available back when I was starting my reconstruction surgeries, there's a chance that those reconstructions would have been more successful. So that's exciting for the future.
Yes.
For breast cancer.
Yes. How do you, I did not know that the journey was 9 years. How do you not sit and ask, why me? How do you not sit and ask, can I get a break? You see everybody, social media, I think, is a it's a blessing and a curse. I think everybody puts their Kodak moments up there, and we have a tendency to compare ourselves to the Kodak moments, and you know, you see people living this life, and here you are in the battle for your life, where it's something that's physical, like you can't even hide underneath a shirt or a scarf or something. And so, and you've always had such a great attitude. What do you attribute that to?
Well, a couple things. I think back to what we were talking about earlier about the trauma, and without really realizing it, um, my my employer, Elkhart Schools, which is where I was special ed director, was amazing with me in terms of understanding what I was going to go through. I had a very visible job. I mean, we provided services for 2,500 kids and their families, and it's out and about in the community a lot. And really, what became my mode of operation, just because that I think it's because being a survivor is what it was all about, is that I didn't stay in my house. I went to work. I would go to drive 3 hours for the radiation, come home and work every day, because I wasn't in a lot of pain. And so I was out there visible during this whole process. Um, the days I did stay in Indianapolis with my brother, I had a cubicle at the Department of Education in Indianapolis, and I was with people every day, and I think I became surrounded by people in our community, embraced by people at work, and accepted. And I think that while I couldn't look at myself in the mirror, I was expecting other people to look at me. But I think that that's the fact that I remained normal. My routine went on, and I wasn't at home in my basement, looking at my face every day, feeling sorry for myself. The why me? I read a quote on the early on in the cancer, that a man whose wife had many kinds of cancer, and somebody asked him after she'd passed away, didn't your wife ever wonder why me? And he said, no, she used to say, why not me? Who do I know that would be better to go through this? And that helped me a lot, because when I started having a pity party for myself, I would say, well, okay, think of who you think would be a better candidate for this. And so being surrounded by people in the community made me maybe more vulnerable in some ways, because people saw it. But I think I've told you about this, but at the end of the decade, when I had the prosthetic nose, I was turning 60, and I wanted to say goodbye to the worst decade of my life. So I threw a birthday party for myself, and invited people, and said on the birthday invitation, this is my gratitude party for all of I invited you because you're an angel. You've been somebody that supported me. And for everyone who comes, I'm going to donate $50 to our local cancer resources. And about 150 people came to my birthday party, and we flew in my doctors, all of them, and my prosthetic nose maker to attend my birthday party. And it was my way of saying thank you to them. But and to all of the people who continued to do things for 10 years, sending me flowers and cards and gym memberships and you name it. But as the party was over and the doctors were walking out to go back to their planes, the cancer doctor that followed me the longest said to me, it's really clear why you did so well. Look at the support you had or still do. And so I would say that's why I did well. I have to give you an infomercial, though, because many people have heard me say, through this, I had all you angels, but why did nobody ever nominate me for Hello Gorgeous? I mean, there was a day.
They're ever going to live that down. They're never going to live that down.
I wrote Oprah Winfrey. I mean, I was the kind of person that so desperately needed what you provide. And I'm so glad to have learned about you. And yeah, I did okay, but it sure would have been nice to have had that. So anyway.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for being with us today, Mary Jo. And thank you for the big shout out about Hello Gorgeous. And thank you for sharing your story, because I know it's going to inspire people. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Kim, very much. I appreciate it.
If you have any questions or comments, would like to know more about the guests on our show, or for more information about Hello Gorgeous, feel free to contact me at kbecker@hellogorgeous.org or visit our website at www.hellogorgeous.org. We invite you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and download our mobile app. Thank you for joining me today on Hello Gorgeous, Everything Beauty, Cancer, and Inspiration. I'm your host, Kim Becker, and until next time, stay gorgeous.